Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. There's one major reason why you shouldn't sell gold, or maybe even silver right now, according to a strategist on this particular piece from CNBC. We'll go through this, and then we'll see if we can find any other reasons why it's probably not a good time to sell either. Let's explore! Before we get into that, let's take a look at where prices are right now as of the recording of this video. It looks like they're starting to creep back up a bit. We did see a record Dow Jones Industrial Average, numbers 29,000, and the stock market is great. Unemployment is still at record lows. Lukewarm jobs numbers, but nonetheless, the markets are reacting and as an antithesis to all that good news in terms of gold and silver and platinum too. Platinum's up. It's the clear winner of the day so far. It is up $12 as of the recording of this video. So let's go back here and take a look and see exactly what's involved here. There's some key points at this particular piece. And the gold prices have recently hovered at 7-year highs after the U.S. killing of Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani, which spiked tensions between Washington and Tehran in the Middle East. Analysts have been broadly bullish on gold as of late, with Goldman Sachs setting a base case for it to trade at $1,600 per troy ounce in the coming months. You'll note that it did get up to that $1,600 an ounce after the counterstrike by Iran. There's lots of reasons to bet against the gold price rally at the moment, but one key reason not to, according to Longview Economic CEO Chris Watling. Gold prices have recently hovered at 7-year highs after the U.S. killing of Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani, which spiked tensions between Washington and Tehran in the Middle East and forced investors into traditional safe haven assets. Speaking to CNBC's Squawk Box Europe Friday, Watling cited one of the reasons to short the precious metal was the beginnings of a cyclical recovery in the global economy. What really determines the gold price is typically real interest rates, Fed funds, interest rate expectations, and things like that. And I think we can price out a cut from the Fed funds curve. I think we're going to get a Treasury inflation protected security yields moving up this year. And actually, it's quite a consensus long now. So all that is a good reason to sell it, Watling said. Shorting an asset refers to a trading strategy where investors bet that the price will fall rather than rise. Gold is often used as a hedge against inflation, in other words, to protect the decreased purchasing power of a currency resulting from its loss of value due to rising prices. And that's why I'm always long gold and to some extent silver as well, if you have the stomach for it. It's long-term holds while we have those metals serving the main purpose of what they do. People so oftentimes are, even in this community, I find some people really are misinformed about what the metals do. They say, well, it's lost price, it's gone down from this picking particular dates or what have you. But in the long run, in the very long run, you hold on to the metal so that it preserves your wealth during a period of time, especially when you take into account dollar cost averaging, which is why I don't like to consider gold or silver as investments. The U.S. Federal Reserve has halted its cutting cycle, keeping its benchmark overnight lending rate at a range between 1.5% and 1.75% in December, projecting no moves in 2020. The central bank had cut rates 3 times in 2019. However, he suggested that the one key reason not to bet against gold prices' continued decline would be the Fed's repo program, which is an ongoing operation to soothe the overnight lending market. It's putting a lot of liquidity, a lot of dollar money into the system, and that is supporting the price. Analysts have been broadly bullish on gold as of late, with Goldman Sachs expecting a base case for it to trade at $1,600 per troy ounce. Spot price was trading down around 0.2% at $15.49 on Friday after tensions between U.S. and Iran slightly abated. However, Goldman's global head of commodities research Jeff Curry told CNBC Street Signs on Friday that with the right combination of circumstances, gold could push even higher through 2020. Gold is a hedge against debasement, and what we saw in 2011 was debasement. Printing too many dollars and the real rate goes down, which then pushes up the price of gold, Curry explained, adding that another crucial factor in play on the occasion was a substantial weakening of the dollar, which further propels gold prices. And going back up to, this repo, a lot of liquidity into the market with the repo program and these overnight lending markets and what's going on there. It's really something. When will it end? And how long can they keep doing it without really the major markets noticing, or the mainstream markets and news? In fact, in some ways, I'm kind of surprised that it was mentioned here and continuing to this day. If you do see that, the potential to push gold back up into that $1,900 range becomes pretty realistic. So we'll see how this all plays out. It's fascinating. And, I think there is a lot of concern with the repo markets and with other factors. I think the housing, we also have manufacturing jobs that are a little bit of a concern now. And what's going to happen? There weren't quite as many jobs created, over the past as they were kind of hoping, a little bit less than average, so kind of lukewarm, but we still have record low unemployment, below 4%. I think is really good. And so really there's a lot of signs that the economy can continue to do well, but then we have these things that are kind of the antithesis of it, such as the repo and manufacturing sector and housing. All of those things are concerning. I've always said, I don't think it's wise for us to root for a downward economy. I don't think it's good for anybody, but we are overdue for a recession at the very least. Although I believe the way things are going, we have a strong enough economy to weather the next recession that is based off of real growth, not stimulated growth from the federal government. However, I will say that there's still some of that stimulated growth out there in the markets where there's a bubble literally on top of another bubble, one artificial and one real. So how it all plays out, we'll see. But regardless, I can think of one other reason why it's not a good time to sell right now, or really any time, unless you have to. Gold and silver are meant to be, I believe, a savings account, a hedge. So you use it to protect yourself. It's an insurance policy. Why would you sell an insurance policy just because the price spikes up? Even if you think it's going to go back down later on. I'm not a seller, and I think that stackers out there, accumulators of both gold and silver. I'm talking about the metal, the pure metal right now. I'm talking about things like eagles, bars, that type of thing, stuff that doesn't have a numismatic value or premium value other than the metal contained therein. Why would you sell that? Finding a reason to sell other than for convenience or just cashing out. Maybe you're tired of the market. Maybe you're tired of where the prices have gone and just feel like you don't have the stomach to weather through it. That's understandable. The only other reason why I can think of to sell other than that is because you have to for one reason or another, or maybe because you want to, and you feel like you have enough silver or maybe even enough gold and you want to cash out some of it for one reason or another. But my feeling is that the purpose of gold and silver to hold an appreciable amount of it is to protect yourself in times of economic instability. And so that's my biggest reason for not selling. Now, I am also a collector, mind you, and I'm looking at a piece of silver right now, And it's a piece of silver that maybe not necessarily would have some huge numismatic value, but I like the design on it, and I like to hold it and touch it and admire it. And so with that being said, I'm going to keep those pieces because I like them as a collector. So there's various different reasons, I think, of not to sell other than what's mentioned here. Can you think of any other reasons not to sell your gold or silver? Post them in the comment section below. And I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for watching, and remind you that I do post videos daily in case you don't get notifications or it doesn't pop up in your subscription feed. If you so desire, you can hop on over to the Salivate Metal YouTube channel and see the videos there posted on a daily basis. And again, I want to extend that multitude of gratitude and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.